Great coaches are always improving their craft, always trying to level up. But here's the thing I want you to think about, whether you're watching this video as a professional coach or a leader or anyone else, you can be a coach in many different ways, and you can bring some of these tools back to your people in your organization or your workplace so that they can also embrace a coaching style of leadership or management or teamwork. So let's talk about that. Real quick, my name's Jackson Kirchis. I'm a partner at Happiness Means Business and Warrior Leader Training, as well as Guardian Leader Training, where we help businesses, nonprofits, and educators, as well as, for those other two companies, military and law enforcement leaders, apply the science of happiness and human flourishing to improve performance. So 3 steps. You need to listen like a coach. You need to think like a coach, and you need to facilitate or guide like a coach. Now, I say that last one in terms of providing some structure, not being super directive, which we'll talk about. So listen, well, what does it mean to actually listen? Well, you should hear we got to listen, be an active listener, listen up. But then sometimes things go in one ear and out the other. Say, shouldn't it kind of run into something in there, something in there? Apparently for me, sometimes it still doesn't. But when I say listen, here's what I want you to think about. BEL, body, emotions, language. That means you're listening for more than just what is said in the specific words, but what's going on in their body and their physiology. What's going on in terms of the emotion behind the words. And then the language is not so much, again, what is said, but are there patterns of language that suggest apprehension or anxiety or doubt? Or are they talking around the issue? So that's what BEL's all about. And it can simply be understood in this phrase. And if you just take away this phrase and apply it to not only your work, but your personal life, it can be life-changing. Listen, not just for what is said, but for what is speaking. Not just what is said, what is speaking. You ever said something that you didn't really mean, and it was really about what was speaking? Can you think of a time you heard someone and you thought, wow, I know what's really speaking. It's their anger, their frustration, or their doubt, or their insecurity. So it's not about what was said, it's about what is speaking, okay? And the last thing I want you to do that as you look for that is be willing to just hold that up to the person. Hey, I heard you just say this, give a summary. Is that right? And they may tell you, no. Perfect. All of a sudden you're moving towards shared understanding. Or they say, yes, you're really hearing me. And then you can ask, well, hey, I thought I saw something change in your expression or posture there. I'm sensing some emotion around this. Is that true? I'm noticing in your language this pattern again and again of this word. What does that mean? Or you just ask them, hey, I'm hearing a lot right now, but what do you really need right now? What's speaking? Whew. Those are powerful coaching questions that help to hold the client or the coachee still in a place of empowerment and support without you having to be super directive. Okay, think like a coach. What I really mean by that is focus on the present, because so often our thinking gets wrapped up in the future and the past. And you can certainly touch on that. Powerful coaching questions may include, is there a time before this where something worked well? Or what have you done leading up to this? It's also powerful to ask, hey, what are the opportunities out there? Or what could go wrong and set you back? Okay, I'm not saying you never go there, but I'm saying I want you to think mostly in the present. Focus in the present. Be where your feet are. Because so often the client's going to be trying to get caught up in the future and the past. And I sometimes say anxiety is a disease of the future. Depression is a disease of the past. But right now in the present, that's all that really matters. And we can have clarity from the present. Okay. So I want you to think about being where your feet are, being present as a coach and creating that space and that container of true presence. It's one of the most powerful gifts you can give. All right. Third one I said is facilitate, guide, or structure like a coach. This is important because the key distinction between coaching and maybe supervising or managing or training is that coaching is more coachee directed. It's a spirit of empowerment. You're trying to partner with them to get more out of themselves rather than just, tell them how to do it. You think about teaching a 10-year-old kid to play baseball. That's going to be a lot more training and directive. Hey, here's how you swing the bat. Put it in your hands, and I'm going to grab your arms and show you how to do it. Now imagine you're coaching, college baseball, pro baseball. I walk in there. You think I'm going to tell Shohei Ohtani, Albert Pujols, the greatest baseball player on the planet, say, hey, I know I never played baseball, but let me tell you, I think you need to, get your elbow up there a little bit. No. So same thing. If you're coaching a new employee, it's going to be a little bit more structured. But if you're a CEO coaching your CFO through a problem, you need to be more hands off. But you can still provide some useful structure. And the way to do that is a simple model that I call VROOM, okay? Like, you know, vroom, vroom, we're moving forward. Vision, reality, options, opportunities, obstacles, and a map. So what does that mean? Well, you sit down. Hey, vision, where do we want to get to in the next 30 minutes, in the next 60 minutes, in the next year? Okay, you can scale that out, but you want to define what success in the future looks like with clear metrics. What would you like to have at the end of this conversation that you don't have now? 1 year from now, what would success look like for you in this role or for this project? That's the vision. Reality, hey, where are you at now? What's the truth of our situation? Boom, all of a sudden you know right where we are and where we want to go. Then that's just the options, opportunities, obstacles, where you as a coach can step back and you don't have to do the work, okay? You're giving it to them. They're gonna say, well, here are maybe some options. What else? What's the real challenge for you here? What do you need right now? What do you need from me? Okay, and then what do you see as maybe opportunities? What are some of the obstacles or things that could go wrong? Having said all that, you get to map. Okay, hey, what does it look like to move forward? What's been highlighted for you in this conversation and what's the next action, right? And I call it your map because it's kind of like your steps to get to the goal. So there you have it. You can still be hands-off, client-led, but you're helping them to guide them a little bit through that process. So listen like a coach, think like a coach, support, structure, guide, facilitate like a coach, and you'll be a great coach. And the best part is you can take this, like 5-minute thing, take this into your supervisors, your managers, your other people in your organization, and they can embrace a coaching mindset as well. So if you want to be coached by me or taught a little bit about how to coach, reach out. As always, we have free resources as well on our YouTube, our newsletter, Happiness Means Business, if you're business, nonprofit, education, warrior leader training, if you're military, guardian leader training, if you're law enforcement or first responders, and reach out if we can ever be of service. This has been Jackson Kirchis. Thanks for watching.